And we're back. Thanks for staying with us through the break. Alex Ruggieri here. You're listening to Central Illinois Business. Think you'll be glad you stayed with us. Second half of the hour, I have here in the studio Mary Shores. She is president and CEO of Mid-State Collections. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about Mid-State Collections and your business and what you do.
Mid-State Collection Solutions is a full-service collection agency, which I started in 1998. I was actually the youngest person in the country to start a collection agency. I was only 24 at the time, and now I've had the company for 15 years. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that my parents owned a collection agency before me since 1986. So I grew up doing collections. When I was a kid. I actually didn't play with dolls. I played bank. So I had a bank in my garage, and I made all this fake money out of paper.
Oh, cool.
And little kids, I used to make them come up on my tricycle and put money in my bank. And now I'm a debt collector.
Oh, amazing. Well, when you said that you started a debt collection company at age 24, I mean, you know, light bulbs go off in my head. How is that possible? So tell us a little bit about, your philosophy of business and how you run things.
Well, I've got a unique perspective since I've actually been exposed to the debt collection business since the 80s. I've seen things change, and I've seen the economy change, and I've been already exposed to a couple of cycles, such as, the savings and loan crisis that happened in the 80s is, to me, very similar to the real estate bubble and the mortgage crisis that we had in 2000s, 8, 9, and 10. And in the early days of debt collection, things were very different than what they are now. So we are regulated by a law called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or the FDCPA. And this is the set of laws that govern how we must behave when we are collecting a debt. So, for example, it would be a violation for me to make a threat upon anyone, a threat that I do not intend to take. So I couldn't tell someone that I was going to put them in jail or take their children away. So that really protects the consumer against abusive.
Did they used to do that in the old days?
Well, yeah, I have a story that I can tell you. So I remember when I was about 14, maybe 15 years old, I was at the mall with my mother. So you can imagine I'm just a teenage girl at the mall with her mom. And all of a sudden, my mom starts taking off, chasing this woman down the hallways of the mall. And I was mortified and embarrassed. And it was Christmas time. And the woman had lots and lots of shopping bags underneath her arms. And when the whole scene was over, my mother explained to me that the reason she was chasing the woman down is because the woman had 15 different bank accounts in all fake names, and that my mother knew that every one of those checks that she had written to those stores, and this was in the 80s, when people wrote checks for everything, that they were all going to be bad, and that she had essentially stolen all of this merchandise from these stores. And so that had a big impact on me to watch that. I always remember that, and I think about how things were different in the industry. So we used to go to people's houses. There was people on Social Security that were paying debts, and they would always get their checks on the 3rd of the month. So my mom would have a route, or I would go and pick up the $5 or $10 payment that they could make. But then we had, a shift where as the average consumer, or the person that has debt, the stigma really has become so much less over the last 20 years. So there's not this stigma to being in debt that there used to be. It's more normal and acceptable to have a debt. And over the years, I just came into a philosophy that I wanted people to feel good about paying a debt. Because even though it's perfectly acceptable in today's times to have a debt, you're still not going to live to your best potential if you're weighed down by the burden of debt. And my passion is to help people find constructive ways to get out of the debt, because they deserve to live the best life that they possibly can. And so I've just developed a customer service philosophy, attitude, and started using sales techniques to collect the debt rather than using threatening techniques. So before, when we would make more of a demand, now we sell them on the potential of how paying this debt is going to benefit them.
This is what charmed me about our conversation, because it's all positive, it's all constructive, it's all uplifting to the people. I've been there. Who hasn't? Everybody knows what it's like to have that phone call. To have somebody on the other end say, hey, look, we can help you work through this. You're going to benefit in so many ways. Your credit's going to go up. Let's try and work together. They're going to respond to that.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah. Alex, and the beautiful thing is that we actually get better results.
Yeah.
So since we have come up with these sales techniques and we make people feel good about paying their debt, our results are actually better than the agencies who still use the more traditional tactics. Mm-hmm. And the extra added benefit to our clients, which are mostly healthcare clients, is that they don't get complaints. So they're really surprised when they switch from our office to a previous agency that those complaint phone calls actually go away.
Wow.
I had one client even say, well, we don't know if you're even doing anything over there because nobody calls to complain about you. And I love that. And you mentioned about credit reporting, and I think that sometimes consumers with debt can feel very defeated that their credit score is just so bad that they cannot fix it. And that's absolutely not true. Everything in the credit world, they can clean it up, they can make their best effort, and there's always an improvement that can be made on someone's personal credit report.
Well, that's really great to hear, and refreshing too, because I mean, everybody, it's like this mysterious Rubik's Cube. There's 3 agencies, and you're supposed to be able to go to whatever, freecreditreport.com, but then you hear, no, they're going to scam you. And so, I mean, it's just really, you're left out there saying, what? I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Alex. Let me give you a credible source to check your credit report. That would be www.annualcreditreport.com. Mm-hmm. There are 3 major credit bureaus. They are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Mm-hmm. And they are mandated by the government to give each consumer 1 free copy of their credit report per year. Mm-hmm. To access this 1 free copy, you can go to this website, www.annualcreditreport.com. You'll be able to You'll create a login and a password. You'll be able to access your credit report for up to 30 days, which will give you time to evaluate what's on the credit report. If you find anything that's an error, you can dispute the error online. It's an electronic process, and within that 30 days, you should get an answer back. Now, my personal recommendation is you don't have to get all 3 credit reports at one time. So you can actually do this 3 times per year. So I tell people, choose a holiday, like every Valentine's Day, I'm going to go and I'm going to check my credit report. I'm going to check my credit report on my birthday. Mm-hmm. Just choose a holiday that you can go online and you can pick one time. You can get the TransUnion report, and then maybe later in the year you can get the Equifax, and towards the end of the year get the Experian.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible. That's so powerful. Now, the other thing I've heard, though, is that they use some really interesting logarithms, so that when people, like if you're going to look for a car and people are checking on your credit, every time a possible creditor checks it, it affects the score. Is that true?
It is true. I think that we're all aware of that. So hopefully we are being cautious with who we're giving our credit information to. And the best way to manage that is to be prepared with what you're going to purchase. In other words, shop around for the car, choose the best deal for you, and then have that establishment only check your credit report. It's not going to hurt your credit permanently. Those are called inquiries. So when someone makes an inquiry on your credit report, that's going to stay on there, and the score may dip a little bit, but what they're really looking for is if you're applying all over the place.
Right.
So going in for a car loan the same month that you applied for a credit card at Macy's isn't going to damage your credit report to the point where you would be affected by it. But if there were some very strange inquiries, and there was several of them, then of course that's going to look bad if you were going to make a major purchase.
Right. Well, where I was going with that is that apply in the case of your free credit report? So if you check your own credit with the free credit report, are they going to ding your credit because you took a peek at your own credit?
No, they will not. And I'd like to add one more thing to your point. Sometimes some of my clients will say, Mary, can you check my credit report? Because they know that I have access to the credit reporting. And the answer is, yes, I could check the credit report, but having a collection agency inquire on your credit report is even more damaging than, say, the car lot. So this is a good way that will not ding your credit. In my personal opinion, you should actually get points just for being proactive.
I would think so.
And it's just a great way. They will not ask you for a credit card because they're not trying to sell you credit monitoring service or anything like that. It's just truly the way to access your credit report.
Wow. Fantastic stuff. We've got just about a minute left. How can people find out more about Midstate?
If anyone is interested in collection services, they have a debt to collect, please call my office at 217-351-1888, and we are happy to help you. Our office is open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. on Friday. We also have a website, www.midstatecollections.com. Our website is full service, so our clients can pull collection reports and check on their recovery right from the website.
Fantastic. Great stuff. I love your approach. We've been talking with Mary Shores. She is the president and CEO of Midstate Collections. Thanks for being with us on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
And thank you for listening.